Yeah, so I'll tell you who I recently worked for. Other artists, I still have very good relationships with them
Mm,
and their label and their managers.
okay.
So there's certain people who I would never do that to out
Okay.
of respect. But the most recent song I did do all the bots for, well, most of it and the marketing was not like us.
Hmm.
Yes, you heard that correctly. This young man claims Kendrick Lamar used bots to get Like Us to pop off the way that it did. Kind of. He went on DJ Academic's stream and decided to go full whistleblower on the alleged situation. Do I believe him? Nah, not really. I do not believe Kendrick Lamar botted his streams to get that to the level that it is now. But I also know that view botting is not uncommon in music. By the end of the video, you're going to see that this conversation produces a lot more questions than answers, and things really do not add up. So let's go ahead and unpack this together. Feel free to drop your opinions below. You already know I'll be down there. If you are new here, I'm Rose. I make videos about music and other media, reviews, news, rants, anything I feel like, really. I try to keep it fun and engaging, and if that sounds like something you can get down with, stick around. Okay, so let's get introduced to our protagonist.
A lot of people know me online as Epic. I'm also known as like just
Wait,
just
wait,
Epic
wait,
to the community,
wait,
to
wait.
Discord.
What are you
Yeah.
known as?
According to him, he is a pretty big deal. He says that he is one of the top names for the services that he provides.
I do digital marketing, and I also worked for a couple of the top streamers. I also did a bunch of internet stuff in the past.
Hmm. Like,
So,
break that down. What do you mean digital marketing? Work for like, what do you do? Like, just give me an example.
so for like artists, streams. So I'm big into the fake stream world, or pushing out albums, releases, helping with unit sales, anything that has to do with Billboard or merch or etc.
So he runs a business where he's paid to bot streams and views to keep up the image of certain artists. Like I said, this is very common practice. You don't want labels thinking that you're falling off around the time your contract renews, so you get some bots. Or you could be a label that wants to sell exclusive rights to a streaming service, so you want to inflate the artist, the creator's numbers, so you can get paid more for that exclusive deal. Or you could be a streaming service that wants to convince labels and artists that their core audience is largely on their platform to negotiate the opposite side of said deal, the previous deal. Lots of reasons. Anyways, we need to figure out what went wrong with the situation. Why ruin your whole business model by doing this?
And the only reason I'm coming out and like I wanted to say something is because I've never been put in this position, but recently, ever since like this whole thing started, I've actually been, receiving texts and people have been telling me not to say stuff, and I've
What
just been
thing?
put in really weird positions.
Wait. What do you mean? What thing? Like what thing started?
It was actually threatening text messages after I worked for a certain artist that we'll get into, and pretty much telling me not to say stuff. Like certain people were texting me random numbers.
Even though he's a top name, I'm sure there are others that can do a similar service for around the same price. So what makes somebody want to go with them or one service over another? Track record is the best determining factor, I'm guessing. One, can you not be detected? And two, can you shut the fuck up about it? That's mostly what you're paying for, right? Silence. If someone were to bot your streams and then run their mouth, then it was worthless in the end because now everyone knows you are a fraud. So this is the fork in the road. From here on, you can go with a couple of different narratives. One, he's telling the truth about everything. Unlikely, but hey. Two, he's telling the truth about the bots, but not about the other half. Or he's lying about the entire thing. Let me know which one you think. In my opinion, shit's not adding up. I don't believe him at all. I do think he's done this before based off how he speaks. He doesn't sound like he's making up the actual botting process. I just don't think he's done this in particular. He did show that he can bot Instagram followers and likes. So as I had assumed while watching this, he is a legit botter, if you will. It's just the story of how he got here that is suspect. So let's go over this alleged timeline. First, we got to establish who reached out to who.
Yeah, I got reached out to. It was May 5th afternoon, and that's when they were like, and I will send you also receipts of that as well. Me being reached out to by the third party and then being paid by them. And they actually told me, they're like, hey, we can make some money on this. They just did this drop. They want to just push it. That's how they worded it. They said we want to push the song, we want to make it look like a crazy hit, and we want to go crazy, and everybody wants to get paid.
Okay.
So I'm saying, fine, yeah, that's cool. Let's do it.
Could you send me that as well?
Okay, so let me get this right. He does not sell direct himself. He uses a middleman. Then that entity gives him the contract, so he's unbiased about it.
What would that cost? say 10 million streams. What would that cost?
So for me on my side,
Yeah.
10 million, I would probably charge like $3,000.
$3,000?
Yeah,
Oh,
but the thing is
ever. What?
that's my cost. So let's say somebody wants to resell my service, which they usually do, which my service is resold all around.
Yeah.
People put it on sites, people could post on Instagram, "Hey, you want streams?
Yeah, okay.
Hey, you want this? Hey, you want that?" So they would upcharge it at whatever cost they want.
Okay, so maybe they upcharge it to 8,000 for 1 million streams.
Yeah, and then they make their cut, and then I'm still making my money. But it really just depends on who you're talking to and who you're using. So let's say I want to do streams for this person, but they reached out to me directly. I'm not going to tax them. I'm going to give them the cost so they come back to me. Let's say another person, an A&R, reached out to me for an artist. They're going to give them a tax price so they make money. Yeah. So, I mean, my service is resold. And the thing about it is I don't work for a certain person. I don't work for a certain company. So I'm not going to, tell people, no, I'm not going to buy this. I'm not going to buy that. No, I'm not going to help you do this. No, I'm not going to help you that. Because at the end of the day, it all comes back to me and it makes me money. So I have no bias. I've never worked for somebody because I liked them. I never worked, didn't do work for somebody because I hated them.
I'm not sure what being unbiased about anything has to do with this, but let's go on. Because I feel like being biased or unbiased would go out the window because the second you know the song, you would have to know the artist too, right? So the only conclusion that I could draw from this sentence or scenario would be the third party speaks with the customer, they draw up a contract, and you just execute after you are contacted through them, through the third party. Because otherwise, what's stopping you from being biased? Also, based off what he's saying, the third party is speaking to a third party from Kendrick's camp. So there's like 3 walls of communication through this thing.
So I actually did get reached out to a third party. And that's when I ended up getting connected with the actual people and the payment was from them. Okay. But yes, at first I was reached out to by a third party saying, "Hey, we could make some money on this deal. They want this."
So how they end up with your number, I don't get it. But I have a theory about this. I'll save that for the end. But to poke one more hole in the story, how and why would a middleman work if they know you as the fake stream guy?
So you're the fake stream guy, right?
Yeah.
Now,
everybody pretty much goes to me for anything like fake streams or fake views.
I guess I'm asking, what is the middleman's job here? Because as you're going to see pretty soon, he bypasses the middleman when it's convenient for him, I guess. But so far, everything between all 4 parties is all good. So when did everything go bad?
It's because I'm being threatened, honestly. That's the only reason I've even come on the stream is because I'm being texted every day. I'm being spammed. I'm being threatened. People are trying to tell me they're going to kill me. They know where I live. Certain artists are reaching out to me saying they're threatening to kill me.
That escalated very quickly. I want to know what happened between the release of Like That and now, where he would even need to be threatened.
Because I haven't got paid my full amount that I was promised.
Break that down. So somebody reaches out to you for 30 million streams. What'd you tell them? How much money?
So I was actually promised cuts as well. So I was promised payments after, but up front I was promised $5K.
Okay.
They told me it was for a big artist. Promised $5K up front.
Okay.
They sent me $2.5K, and then I was also promised after the song performed, I was also going to receive, a little percentage of the song, so points on the song.
Okay. Now you're talking to somebody that's not industry dumb. Put it like this: my voice is on "Push-Ups" by Drake. I don't have percentage of that song. I would look like an idiot, and I'm pretty sure Drake would just block me if I said, "Give me percentage on the song." Now, you're a digital marketer.
This is like my full-time job.
Engineers don't even get percentage of the song. Why? Is this the first time someone's promised you percentage on a song?
Okay, all right. Let's draw this out again because shit's getting jumbled up. Kendrick's team contacts a third party or middleman to contact a third party for the guy named Epic that actually does the service. The third party that is between Epic and Kendrick's third party is paid for the service. Then the service contacts Epic, letting him know what song he'll be working on. Wouldn't the third party be the one that owes you the money? That's just usually how that works. That's all I'm saying. So Kendrick Lamar's third party contacted him in May to buy approximately 30 million early streams to make it look good, quote unquote. They offered to pay him $5K, then a percentage of the song after. They send $2.5K, and he does it before receiving the rest of the $5K that he was promised down. Academics asked him, did it seem strange that they didn't pay all of it all up front? And he says no, because some artists pay him after.
You know, I've been doing it for a while, so when I work with bigger artists, they want to see the numbers first. They want to see how it works. They want to see what they're going to get from it, what they're going to profit, how it's going to look, how it's going to, you know, make them look as an artist. So I usually take payment after. So I do take payment up front just as proof.
Okay.
But usually I let them pay me after or whatever they want to.
Which I understand, but is that what you discussed with this person? Watching people do bad business is just painful. What do you mean they want to see if it works? You're supposed to be the guy. You are known for being the guy that can get it done, which is why they came to you, right? So they know the service is going to work. Where is this?
And they just ghosted you.
I mean, yeah, I got ghosted by the third party.
So if you got ghosted by the third party, did you try to get in contact with the team around Kendrick?
Yeah, I did. I reached out to some people. Nothing really, like no interest. And then I also reached out to some people from the other camp as well, and they just said they weren't interested in anything at all.
Oh, what do you mean the other camp?
Drake. So I tried to reach out to them and say, hey, what's up, like anything, blah blah blah, and they just weren't showing any interest at all.
Why would? So were you just trying to switch sides? Well, not necessarily switch sides. I know you say don't pick sides, but were you just trying to be like, all right, cool. If y'all not gonna pay for my services, maybe I could get Drake to pay for my services to do stuff for him.
Yeah. If they wanted the ammo, if they wanted, you know, the knowledge, I was gonna go over there and be like, hey, like, just a heads up. But no, they seemed very uninterested, and they didn't want anything to do with it.
So as soon as you didn't get your payment, you try to flip to the other side. That's the first response, not let's give him a certain amount of time. So he tries to go to the other side. Drake's camp turns them down, and now he's forced to ruin his whole business over $15K. Make it make sense. What's going on? But you did all of that, and now you're scared. I felt bad at first, but you walked into this ass whooping by yourself. Then academics ask him the question, why don't you go to the police if you're feeling threatened? And he says they're not going to help. Let's address this real quick. If you feel threatened, call the police. You are a civilian and you're scared because violence is so far out of the norm for you that it's inconceivable, which is perfectly fine. Everybody's not built like that. A lot of people didn't grow up in violent homes. That's wonderful. But if you were not raised in a household where you were not taught to not call the police and to handle situations yourself, call the police. Stop playing. And you may be right. The cops probably won't help you per se. They're not going to solve all your problems for you because, again, this is kind of your fault if this stuff is true. But they will at least get a paper trail. You can get stuff filed against people. You can sue people for pain and suffering. I'm not sure how it works in Canada. But if someone threatens you and they have priors, you can get people locked up for that. But doing this right here, just as academic says, it's kind of blowing up your spot right now because now you are in the eye of the people. But also, you're in Canada. The niggas you're dealing with more than likely live in California. Cops do not need a reason to lock niggas up in Cali. And then he goes on to say that, like, he acts like the internet is going to protect him. I don't get this man's logic.
So, I mean, they still could kill you.
I don't think so. But, I mean, if you see it like that, then maybe, but...
You think this is like a magic circle or some shit, nigga? But on top of that, you can do both. You can file a police report, and if that doesn't work, you can still do this. You don't have to pick one or the other. But I have a theory on why you wouldn't want to contact the police. Okay, at this point, we know who the supposed third party is. Axe showed the bank account after the stream and showed that the payment was from Kendrick's manager. How convenient that they use his actual name to do business. Theory time. I think this person works with Drake, works for Drake in some capacity. I'm not saying Kendrick Lamar is incapable of botting. That's crazy. I'm not going to vouch for him like that. He very well could have. I'm just saying which of these artists would benefit more from Kendrick botting right now. Drake was the one that swore up and down that he was running a huge disinformation campaign the whole time, like he was some army general, right? When the other one, being the whole daughter angle that turned out not to be true, failed because the internet didn't care, he had to take a different route. He said instead of making his bars seem illegitimate, I'll make his streams look illegitimate. Because, I mean, is anyone surprised? Kendrick has never beat Drake in any numbers metric. Why would it matter all of a sudden to anyone that was rocking with Kendrick if he had more numbers, better numbers than Drake? That's never mattered to his core fan base, and it doesn't matter now. Then let's not forget academics. We know he loves him some Drake. Let's listen to the first couple of seconds of the segment.
By the way, I didn't set this up, chat. This fell in my lap. Okay. But today is Kendrick Lamar's 37th birthday. I want to wish him a very happy birthday. I'm wondering how he's spending it. You know, he's been laying low, doing his thing. We've seen him at the Compton, college commencement speech. And apparently, if the people who vetted you are right, you might have something in common with Kendrick Lamar. Am I right or not?
That's a strange thing to say, don't you think? So if you didn't set this up, who did? Who would have an incentive to reveal this magical information on Kendrick Lamar's birthday on one of, if not the largest hip hop related platform, and say things like all of Drake's streams are legit?
Chad, he's never worked for Drake.
Yo, look at your DMs.
All Drake's streams are always real. That's a fact.
Bro, agreed. Bro, nobody like that I've ever worked with has ever worked with Drake. He's the only artist that's actually keeping it 100.
Who in the world would have a motive to sour this day? Who has been the same one in academics' ear the whole time telling them to release this and release that? I wonder who. I don't know, but I'm so sure it's not the Canadian that got his fucking boot smoked. Look, you can look for all the technicality wins you want. Did Kendrick use bots? I don't know. I don't. There's no way for me to know that. Drake was the one who had more to lose than Kendrick. Had Kendrick had less numbers than Drake, no one would have batted an eye. That's normal. More importantly, it's kind of a moot point because contrary to this man's belief, Kendrick didn't need numbers to win shit against Drake. Because here's the thing, the people have spoken.
DJ Mustard is in this too.
Oh, this beat is fucking crazy.
Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
Oh my God.
He is not letting that go.
Bro, why y'all keep saying Drake like minors, bro?
Trying to strike a chord.
Because it's probably A minor.
A little on the rock, all eyes on me and I'ma send it up to. Pick the wrong label on me, I'ma get him.
Oh, what's that last clip you ask? I'm sure most of you have heard by now, but Kendrick Lamar had a concert sponsored and shot by Amazon called The Pop Out, and so many people came out to support not only Kendrick Lamar, but LA in general. People that hadn't been confirmed to have quote unquote chosen a side just yet, but we all kind of knew, showed up. People that Drake thought would ride for him were there. If you want to watch Kendrick's victory lap, because that's basically what it is, I'm sure you can find a video on YouTube somewhere of the whole thing, but if you want to see a small recap, I will be releasing a video on that pretty soon, maybe later on today. Look out for it. Drake stands, I appreciate y'all for the views. Yes, I'm going to try to make some money off of this. Yes, the Drake videos are the biggest videos on my channel. I ain't got no shame, bro. I got people to feed. Look, all this will blow over in due time. Don't ruin your friendships over this because it's not going to be worth it in a couple of years. Hit subscribe because I'm sure we will find something else to bond over in the future. If you are new here and you made it this far, I think you found your new home. If you feel like you belong here, I agree. You do belong here. Y'all be safe.